non-compensating euphonium. This one is a Stagg brand. It is the 77-EU model, and Stagg is basically a European company that pretty much just rebrands Chinese instruments and maybe modifies them a little bit. That's what I've been able to gather anyways. So this is an okay instrument. I originally thought it was a Holton for whatever reason. I was under that impression. A Holton probably would have been better than this, but admittedly, this is not a bad instrument. Yeah, it's used. It's not perfectly new. It's got some residue marks and water spots that I guess just come with general use. As I said, the fourth valve is not compensating, so the low notes get pretty out of tune if you don't either lip them down or use alternate fingerings. So the C, the low C right above pedal B flat, and the B natural are pretty ugly. I'm not sure B natural is actually a note that exists on the instrument, because if you play it without lipping down, it sounds like this. So that's what a non-compensating system does. But it is good for people who are just starting to learn how to use the fourth valve, and I guess it's kind of nice having it there for trills. You saw in the intro clip I was using it on a couple of trills. Not really trills, just ornaments, but yeah. The mouthpiece is a Holton. That explains why I thought the instrument was. But the mouthpiece is a large shank, Holton 6.5 AL. It's a pretty good mouthpiece. I don't think it's the one that comes with the instrument though, so look into getting something like this, which is pretty nice. I mean, it's not a terrible instrument. All the valves work. They're quiet, which is nice. The slides do move, at least somewhat. Actually, speak of the devil, the second valve slide doesn't seem to want to move. So, that's just a quick overview of the basic characteristics of this. Now I'll do a little more playing for you guys. Here's a little bit out of first sweep for you guys. So the fullness and richness of the tone on this instrument is actually not bad for a horn that was really built down to a price. I'd say clarity could use some work, but that's basically a standard among cheap instruments, is that they don't speak too clearly. The low, middle, and high notes of this instrument all do work. The middle register has a nice round sound. The high register is there if you try hard enough. Let's try the pedals. So, as I said in the Mendini review, theoretically, if you were good enough, like, you'd have to be way better than I am, but if you were good enough, that could take you all the way down to pedal B natural, and you could basically play most tuba parts on this thing. It's a little growly, as is any 4-valve euphonium playing tuba parts, but it works. I'll demonstrate with the same extract I used in the Mendini review. So as I said, it's got kind of a rough sound down there. It's not nice like a tuba, but you can play in that range with some degree of success. I have a couple of gripes with this instrument, and one of them is pretty annoying. It's something you find on a lot of Chinese-made instruments, so I really shouldn't be surprised by it, But this thing, let's just say the mouthpiece receiver is not perfectly circular. Most of the time, it doesn't get too bad, but occasionally you'll get some really bad air leakage if the mouthpiece isn't screwed in far enough. It's like there wasn't really any that time. That's the thing, it's all hit or miss. There might be air leakage or there might be none. And it's sort of just you just kind of hope you get lucky. And all the slides have to be pulled out very far to play in tune. This thing is, it corresponds to the fourth valve up here. It's still rather sharp even when pulled out to this length. And it just gets sharper as you add more valves to the mix, because you're effectively lowering the instrument's fundamental to F instead of B flat. But that's what a compensating system's for if you need that. Overall, I would describe this as a decent step-up instrument from, like a Yamaha student model. That's what everybody seems to use these days. But it's a good step up from something like a baritone or a student model euphonium to something slightly better that has this extra technology built in that you can start to mess around with. It's not really a professional grade instrument, but what can you expect? For a Chinese horn, it's actually pretty darn good. So that was the Stagg 77 EU. Thanks for watching.